cannot happen. I am angry. I am not having a good time, and we shall react together at 215-592-9494. Welcome on into WIP. It is Brodes kicking it with you here on Final Out as the Phillies drop the final game against the Boston Red Sox by a score of 9-8 when they had a 5-rip lead. The vibes were high. It was a tremendous feeling in the air. I wasn't even done reacting to Kyle Schwarber's nuke when Bryce Harper hit his. I was still in celebration mode from the Schwarbomb. Bryson Stott with dad strength. Castellanos delivers. It was unreal. Until the fifth happened. We have a monster Jesus Luzardo issue. He can't pitch when there's someone on base. You fall apart that badly, walking guys left and right, allowing the grand slam. You look so dominant and so outrageously dominant for so long. And all of a sudden, you look like Vince Velasquez? You look like you don't know what you're doing anymore? We can get to the Rob Thomson angle. Post-game, he said he wanted to get Romano up against Trevor Story. But with hindsight, maybe he should have done it quicker. Here's my stance. I'm not telling you Rob played it perfectly by any means. But I got to figure out what Jesus Luzardo is. So when he's in a sticky situation, knowing that he's been uncomfortable with runners on, the only way he's going to be a real reliable option in the postseason is if he could get his head out of his ass and actually perform when there's base runners on. So you know what? At the end of July, and July 23rd is here, and you're facing a Red Sox team when you already took the series, I personally don't even mind giving him a chance. Because I need to get out this information. I need to get the data to see if he can find himself. Now I know. Now you got to be quicker on the trigger if you're Topper, because you know. And I'm not sure if Rob wanted to admit what I just laid out publicly, so he just thought it would be easier to hide behind, that one's on me, guys. To protect Luzardo in a way. So it's like, hey, I don't have to really learn anything about Luzardo. It's just, I probably should have had a better feel. But in reality, you give him a leash. Because we have to figure out who Luzardo is. The unfortunate part, I think we know now. Someone who's not good enough. That whole, hey, Dave Dombrowski did something epic in the offseason. He stole Luzardo from Miami. He didn't steal a damn thing. And I don't know how effective he's going to be able to be if you move him to a bullpen role because, please, you're going to tell me I'm going to watch the postseason, it's going to be the 7th inning, and you're going to call on Luzardo, and then there's a walk, and now someone's on base, and the whole thing's going to blow up? He can't be reliable in the postseason if one base runner is going to throw him out of whack. Unbelievable. 215-592-9494. Don't even get me started when I have to watch Lazar and Seth Johnson in extra innings. You knew exactly how that game was going to finish. Truth be told, even when JT Realmuto hit the bomb off Chapman, which stunned me, I didn't say a word for 10 minutes. You know how nuts that is for me to be quiet for 10 minutes? My jaw hit the floor. I said, what? JT just hit a bomb? Okay. Even at 6-6, I went, we got a long way to go, fellas. And unfortunately, I was right. You had such a good opportunity staring at you right in the face. And what I mean by that is this baseball team started out the second half of the season with Los Angeles here, and you were not effective enough. A sweep would have went a long way. Would have brought the mojo back. Hey, Not what you wanted to see at a break, but you responded. This loses all that energy. Taking 2 out of 3, but losing the third game in this fashion, up 5-0. And now it's another start where Jesus Luzardo is gifted runs. And before you know, grand slam and walks? That was as ugly as you can possibly find. That is gross baseball. What is going on? You could have potentially grabbed momentum. And you know what? That's a perfect description of who this team is. They're a team, it's home run or quietness. And when things are grooving, the energy's rocking. But at the end of the day, JT Real Mucho can't catch a pop-up. He lost it, and now you're giving the other team life. I apologize for getting to that portion of it so late, but this team shoots themselves in the foot 24/7. How many times have an error made the other team take the game from you? Sloppiness, poor base running. The list goes on and on and on. I've seen it happen a million times, and this is just another prime example. You're either out of the inning, and Jesus Luzardo continues to potentially throw a gem, unless it just happens in the 6th instead of the 5th, which is very possible. You're either out of the inning, or it ends up being a grand slam and you lose a 5-0 lead in 1 inning. That's crazy. Let's get to the wrap-up, which is sponsored by Roto-Rooter. When plumbing problems hit, wrap them up quick and call Roto-Rooter. Their team tackles clogs and leaks so you can stay in the game. Roto-Rooter, your MVP for plumbing solutions. So the wrap-up essentially is, you did such fantastic work with the bat early on. So much so that, seriously, the crowd that was there, it was awesome. And so far with Christopher Sanchez and his start the other night, and now some of the moments that you saw in this game, you're starting to feel that we're close to August. You're starting to feel that these games have some more meaning and it's more impactful. Watching guys like Strom fist pump and scream and yell and just the bark from the crowd, it's cool. It's not as cool when you lose, but it's cool, and I appreciate it. And when you're getting all these home runs, there's something about it. And I thought it could be one of those nights where I put my feet up and I just relax. I just chill. And before you know it, it all fell apart. And again, when it's 6-6, nobody feels good. Nobody. You'd be lying to yourself if you think you were actually going to steal this one after they somehow managed to tie it. It's just unbelievable that we are here. Let's go to the phones at 215-592-9494 and react with everyone. If you're leaving the ballpark, you absolutely have an opportunity here to chime in and share your opinion. If you watched at home, if you listened on the radio, obviously you can also chime in as well. Would love to get your opinion on what just transpired at the ballpark. Let's start things off with Thomas here on WIP. Yo, Thomas.
Hey, how's it going? I called you on Saturday. I was feeling real high after Harper and Schwarber hit that grand slam, you know. I'm feeling great tonight. I thought I'd be calling you back tonight, feeling pretty good. You know, I can't believe it. I cannot believe where we are at right now after that inning. Harper's got to take him out of the game. He's got to pull him.
Yeah, listen, I know that's a lot of people's reaction, and I would have no issue if he decided to go out there and just take him out of the game. But I also don't hate the idea of, look, you're talking about winning this one baseball game, but with the vision of figuring out if Jesus Luzardo can actually be a great starter that can handle adversity, there's no way to find that out unless you throw him into the fire. And if he's working on things, which they all claim he is, and is he tipping pitches, is he not? If you're going to give him the leash to see if he learned anything over the last few weeks, then I'm okay with that as well. Now, unfortunately, we know the answer now. Luzardo's not good enough, but you don't know that until you try and see.
No, I hear you. I mean, I thought he was pitching great tonight. He looked great. And I turn over to my father. We're sitting there in that inning, and he's like, here's where you got to watch out. Here's where you got to watch out. All of a sudden, he starts walking one guy. He walks another guy. And it's like, it's plain as day to everybody in the stadium. You got to do something. And Topper's just sitting there, just letting it play out. I mean, I just don't know how you do that. I mean,
yeah, and I think it's, and thanks, Thomas, I appreciate the call. I think it's what I just mentioned. And here's the truth. Rob Thomson, nowhere even close to number one on my list of I'm mad at you for this. Yo, Luzardo, the hell is wrong? Is he not good enough? Because if you think he's good enough, then don't be mad at Rob. Be mad at Luzardo. Because you can't pitch with runners on? That's where we draw the line with his excellence, is when someone gets on base, he just completely collapses. That's a Luzardo issue. Get mad at him. But you don't know how bad it's going to be until you give him the opportunity to work in that environment. Now we know. Now the next time I'll criticize Rob Thomson a little bit more because there's more data. And then get mad at JT. They could have been out of this inning. Players first here. I'm not telling you Rob deserves zero blame, but he's definitely not first on my list. I don't watch today and go, Rob, you screwed this one up. I say, Luzardo, you screwed it up. JT, you screwed it up. They screwed it up. They were the big problem in that inning. That's the issue. Luzardo stinks if he can't pitch with runners on. And maybe we know he knows he stinks. Maybe that's what we know now. But you don't know until you let him work in that environment. And I stand by that. So I actually don't hate the idea of letting him plug away based off of how he was pitching earlier in the game. Next start, though, I'll have different feelings. 215-592-9494. Coming up next, we will continue breaking down this game, taking your phone calls, and we'll get into the biggest takeaway of the game, the player of the game, and so much more. It is Brodes, it is Final Out, and it's 94 WIP. 215-592-9494. That is the phone number to hop on board as we continue discussing this loss and where you put the blame and who you're really angry at, because there's a lot of different answers here. Some are calling in saying Max Kepler's the worst human to ever exist and they can't stand his presence. Others are really upset with Luzardo for not being able to perform. Some are really disappointed with JT Realmuto for not catching a ball that could have put this team in a different position. Sure, he hits a home run off Chapman to tie it up 6-6, but how many runs were scored because of misplaying a ball? What, 6 in one inning? That can't happen. And then, yes, Rob Thomson is also catching some heat as well. And it's not as if I don't understand being upset and disappointed, because just from a very bland, vanilla type of view, you would want the manager to take out a pitcher who is struggling. That is basic logic. That is simple managing 101. So I completely understand. But I'm twisting and tweaking the view for a second, because what I've been consistently hearing from the Phillies organization, from Jesus Luzardo himself, from Rob Thomson, is this guy is super great, but there is something that he needs to work through. And he is spending countless hours trying to really grow and get past this hump and jump over the hurdle. So then I ask the question, how will you ever give said player the chance to prove it's working or not unless you ask him to pitch in the fifth after a walk or two? And I agree that you're putting this game on the line in theory with that logic. But wouldn't you rather figure it out on July 24th compared to rolling the dice in a different game in the fall, in October, in any sort of conversation then? This is the time. We talk about the journey. It's a grind. It's 162. It's a long summer. Well, there's reasons why these games are played. It's to collect data. So then when it's time to pull the strings and push the buttons in meaningful games where the outcome significantly impacts you more, a.k.a. the playoffs, you have a lot more to go from. You have a lot more to study. You have a lot more to analyze from. So I don't mind it from that view. But I'm not going to hold my hat on this Luzardo experience much longer. He doesn't get every single long leash. He got the long leash. Now the leash is short. You are who you say you are. You are who you prove you are. You are what your game log says you are at this point. You're a guy who's willing to dominate for about 4 innings, and then we sniff the 5th, and then things start to fall apart completely. 215-592-9494. Before we get to the phones, I want you to listen to Jesus Luzardo, who met with the media after the game, and this is what he had to say about his performance. Oh, sorry, we have a producer switch. Yeah, we can play the Luzardo cut here.
Clearly, it's not working. So, working tirelessly at seeing what we got to do to fix it. Like you said, it's been over a month now, and the first 12 starts were incredible in the sense that there was never a problem. And then now, the last whatever it is, it's always been an issue. So, out of the windup clearly isn't the problem. It's when we get in the stretch. So, I feel like other teams know that. So, just back to the drawing board in terms of that, and, working with Caleb and Mark and seeing what we can do. But, there's no one, I'm working day and night trying to figure it out. So, it's something that needs to get fixed, and it needs to get fixed now.
All right, so I don't think it's going to get fixed, and I am definitely selling all my Jesus Luzardo stock, although I've been sort of doing that for a while now, and it's starting to make sense on why the Miami Marlins would make a move with Jesus Luzardo. I think you're starting to see the signs and the reasons why. But I'm selling my stock big time. I don't think there is a fix. They're this lost. They have no clue. They tried everything. They thought he was tipping pitches. Here's the truth and reality. He never was tipping pitches, but he was getting beat that badly where that's the only conclusion they could come up with. Seriously. He wasn't even tipping pitches early on. He was just pitching that bad. But that's how you know you have no answers whatsoever. So he is what he is. Now the writing's on the wall. But I needed this outing to fully know that. To the phones we go. Seriously, I really do appreciate the patience. Let's go to Grady in New York. What's up, Grady?
Yo, Brodes. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Awesome, man. It's my first time calling you.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Dude, let me just say, all these people calling in, it's been spot on. It's such a disgusting loss. But back to the blame for tonight.
Sure.
Right? I look back at this game, and you look back at that inning where they took the lead. To this point in the season, I am genuinely pissed off now at Rob Thomson.
Okay.
And it's been consecutive, and I'm not saying I want him gone. Trust me, I love the guy. Ever since we fired whatever his name was, then we could talk about Kepler and JT and what they did, but they also provided for the team today. And Luzardo, you kept saying that we should give him a chance, and you're not going to blame Thomson, right? What about that Angels game out of the break? That was his chance, and he didn't do it. So in that situation, bases loaded, Rob Thomson must be thinking to himself, who's the one guy I don't want on the mound? There's only one guy, and it's him. And exactly what happened. And I agree. Come Red October, he'll be in the bullpen, and I don't trust Dave whatsoever to get this job done before the deadline. So I just think we're going to have to pray that Aaron Nola is spot on once he returns.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not like I don't understand why people are angry at Rob, but it's like this team, if I'm going to list the issues with this team, right, we can talk about how they have inconsistent offenses every single day. They don't have a reliable bullpen. We had a lack of power forever. It's starting to turn around with the two-headed monster of Bryce and Kyle, but there's just a lot of confusion. They're a bad base running team. They're not very good defensively. They don't have a center fielder. They don't have a left fielder. So if I'm going to name you those 9 issues or whatever it was off the top of my head, Rob Thomson managerial skills, sure, you'll find on a day-to-day basis a decision or so that bothers you, but the reason why this team is going to fail isn't Rob Thomson's managerial decisions more so than it is the team is just flat out constructurally flawed from top to bottom. Would you agree with that?
I would, yeah. I would say it's not just him, but I would also say that he has been annoying every fan of the Phillies since about April. It started mainly with Harper. when he didn't take charge and defend his number one player, that didn't sit well with anybody I knew. And I think
agree.
what Rob
I agree with that.
Thompson needs,
I agree with that.
he needs a ripping from Ricky Bo on the post game because we love the guy. He's brought us to the postseason since he's been here, and it's been great. But this season, he's not been it. It just hasn't been.
Well, can I make the argument? Can I make this argument, Grady, that with everything I just laid out, the fact that they have the record that they do is actually amazing. Like, their bullpen stinks. They're a horrible base running team. They're inconsistent offensively. You know, you got Aaron Nola banged up early on, which led to some really bad starts. You have Taijuan Walker still pitching games consistently. You know, there's so many things going on here. Yet, before tonight, they were still at the top of the NL East, carrying the workload for the NL East. And I can make the argument that having this roster where they are is actually a credit to Topper more than it is, hey, Topper, you've been disappointing.
That's a great point. You know, that's a great point, especially when you look at how much talent this team could potentially have, what they have had the past 2 years, and how, yeah, I will see you that he's managed to keep it together throughout the injuries. The bullpen is the main issue. We all know that. And listen, I'm not saying like I want like a big repercussion for Thomson, for Topper, but I think he's been walking on thin ice a little bit for the past, 3 months in terms of just getting absolutely obliterated post-game. And I think enough is enough. If you think about it, he really hasn't gotten a beating, over the public air since he's been, head coach.
Here's why I think that is, Grady. And thank you for the call. Seriously, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. I think it's because we know the roster is the problem. The reason why Rob Thompson's bothering you is because of the things that are happening with the baseball team on the field that's out of his control. I think that's why he's not getting the public beating. There's a few times that I was really disappointed with Rob. When Bryce Harper got screwed on that at-bat and Kirkering got screwed when he struck out the guy 6 times in one at-bat, and that is insane. That umpire didn't have spit in his eyeballs. I would have been so close to his face, spit would be everywhere. I need you to stand up for him. The whole Atlanta Braves, Spencer Strider thing. So there's maybe 2 situations so far over 100 games where I can't believe Rob didn't give me more fire. But that's also Rob. So if 2 situations out of 100 games, I wish he gave me a little more, he's doing something right. He's doing something right. I think Rob Thompson's a good manager that irritates me with the lack of fire at times, but that is 15 on my list. Max Kepler can't play. Rojas stinks. Marsh isn't good enough. Stott hasn't been good enough offensively. He's what is supposed to be your starting second baseman, but has to split time with the utility player in Edmundo Sosa prior to this Alec Boehm injury because he hasn't been effective enough. These are real problems. Bryce Harper just came alive, but for a while there, he was okay, but not great. These are the issues that he's dealing with that are uncontrollables. That's why maybe the intensity towards Rob hasn't been as loud as mentioned. And I think that's fair. I think that's smart. You can be upset with Topper occasionally. I'm not acting as if you can't ever be upset with Topper. I get upset with Topper, and I'm never afraid to show that. There's times where I disagree with Topper. But big picture, what's wrong with this team? That falls maybe 15th on my list. This team is just structurally flawed. I'll rip Dave Dombrowski to shreds, and I'd have pitchforks going after that guy's job 8 million times more than Topper. Even though when you change the president, more so other decisions are made after that too, for whatever it's worth. Let's go to JD in Harrisburg. Hey, JD.
Hey, Brodes. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I was fine until that performance from Luzardo. I know, I agree with everything you said. He was terrible. I want to go to a different route.
Okay.
I want to talk about the guy who brought Luzardo in and Dave Dombrowski. Because here's my problem with Dave. 2022, losing the World Series. 23, losing the NLCS. 24, losing the NLDS. Acquisition after acquisition is a bust. Austin Hayes, bust. Carlos Estevez, bust. Max Kepler, bust. Jesus Luzardo now appears to be a bust. All I hear is how this guy is DGM, that guy. Where is it? Where is it?
It's a great question, JD. I can't stand hearing Buster Olney and the ESPN broadcast, and I love Jason Stark. He's amazing at what he does. But Jason Stark and Ken Rosenthal and every single national media member acts as if this guy can walk on water, and he's one of the greatest presidents in the history of the world. And maybe, JD, maybe one day, far away from now, he gets appreciated for his time in Boston and what he built in Detroit, even though there's no championship in Miami. Maybe he'll get all the love in the world. But here in Philadelphia, the dude has been the biggest disappointment I can remember from a star front office name. And it's so glaring and obvious, isn't it?
Absolutely. And with the deadline, 9 days away, his legacy in Philadelphia is on the line. If you have to lose an Aiden Miller, a Mick Gable, a Justin Crawford, do it. Bring in a big-name guy because they need it, whether it's in the bullpen, in the outfield, I don't care. But this roster just has exited the playoffs earlier and earlier and earlier, and all the guys he's brought in have just not cut it. And it hasn't even been close.
I know. And the fact that the other day John Middleton spoke, and he said something along the lines of, well, when Rube was here, he went after some of the big starting pitchers, and he went after Hunter Pence, and he went after all these guys, and he emptied the cupboard, and we didn't win a championship. And I'm thinking to myself, John, read the room, dude. Just because it failed, it doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do. Don't the Dodgers still go after it every year? Don't the Yankees still go after it every year? You can build a system, make trades, still be involved every single season, and you're acting as if I wouldn't sign up for what Ruben Amaro did 20 out of 20 times. We had one of the most electric staffs there ever was. I would do that every day and put my head on my pillow every night, sleeping well, knowing I went after it and gave it a shot. He's making it seem like it's a bad thing to go after big-time players at the free agency, not free agency, but the trade deadline, and that's disgusting coming from our owner.
Absolutely. Isn't this the same guy that said he wants his trophy back?
Yep.
What happened to that guy?
I don't know.
What happened to that guy? Now we're going to sit on our hands and be scared because what? You're scared of selling the farm? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, Brodes. It's frustrating. I was at the game sitting in traffic, and now I'm here. It's 12:15 at night driving home, and I'm just sick of the nonsense, Dave. He needs to do some of the trade deadline. I don't know what that guy is. I don't know if it's a Stephen Kwan. I don't know if it's a Mason Miller. I don't know, Brodes, but something needs to be done.
It's a great point. Thank you, JD. I appreciate your phone call. I have a couple theories on the Middleton front, why he went from I want my damn trophy back to this. Either Dave Dombrowski swayed him, and Dave Dombrowski said, you brought me in here for a reason. You let me run the operations. I'll show you exactly how to stay competitive, but to also keep your system intact. And since we grew it from nothing, believe in me, follow me, trust me, I'm Dave Dombrowski. And now we have John Middleton brainwashed. Or this is what Dave Dombrowski wants to do. John Middleton doesn't agree, but he's going to allow the guy that he hired to run the course that he wants to. So publicly, he's trying to spin it where they're on the same page because he knows this is the route Dave Dombrowski is going to take. So he's just going to say something very similar to that approach. Because if he doesn't, and he says, I want my damn trophy back, yet Dave Dombrowski sits on his hands, then we say the owner and the president are clearly not aligned. So theory number 2 is he's just lying. And he doesn't believe a word he's saying about the route that Ruben Amaro took, and he's just doing it to save face, so it seems as if they both have the same beliefs and concepts. But I don't buy that one, because you know he's all about making money, and he's all about having people show up to the ballpark in 4, 5, 6, 7 years when we're in a totally different phase of Phillies baseball. Everyone who's mad at Joshua Harris for caring about how many butts are in the seat, keep that same energy towards John Middleton, because he just did the same thing. And if anything, he did it worse. He did it at the wrong time. He didn't read the room. Ugly, ugly moment for John Middleton. Same energy, because that's exactly what Joshua Harris is all about. Quite frankly, that's what Jeffrey Lurie's all about, too. It's just the nature of the beast. All owners are like that. But if you're going to rip Joshua Harris to shreds for only caring about butts in the seat, John Middleton just admitted that to your face during a disappointing regular season so far, just based off of vibes, with a huge trade deadline staring at us. He just chose to do that. That's crazy work. That's not getting talked about enough. That is a slap in the face. That is so disrespectful from top to bottom that he would seriously stare at his own fan base and make that type of claim about the importance of keeping the prospects and making sure we have faces that are exciting in years to come. You know what's exciting? How about this? Here's something wild. Here's a wild concept. Winning a damn World Series. Getting a damn championship again. That's exciting. Way more exciting than Justin Crawford will ever be. No offense. More exciting than anything Mick Abel and Aiden Miller. Get him out of here. Bryson Stott and Bohm never worked out. A lot of the guys I was promised never worked out. These guys don't work out. It's crazy. John in Coatesville, you're on WIP. Yo, John.
Hey, Brosh.
Hey,
listen,
how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, listen. That little rant you went on, I was ranting right with you. Okay, I feel the same way about that. But there's one thing I don't agree with you.
Okay.
And that's what happened tonight. So I mean, my blood pressure was through the roof. I'm sitting over here watching this guy's walking the bases. Up to that point, he was doing good. We were doing good, rolling right along. It's 5-zip. And, he loads the bases. I said, all right, Rob. Now, I know you thought this is a good time for him to do a test. I was all right with 1 run coming in, and then he walked that 1 run in. I said, okay, Rob, come on, 5-1 now. Get your butt out there. Come on, earth to Rob. Come on, get out there. So, and nothing. Next thing you know, he walks another one. All right. Now, I said my wife was here. She had to leave after the next one. But anyhow, I said, okay, he's going to definitely take him out now. All right, because it's 2 walks now. So that's what he and when he pitched to him again, I've seen this movie before, and I could say now we're actually going to be losing if he hits a home run. It's easy enough to calculate in your head. Take him the hell out. He struggled. He knows it. He suffered a little bit there. He's beat up. Don't beat him up all the way and hurt the rest of the team. I put the loss on Rob, clearly. I like Rob, but I put the loss on Rob. It was poor coaching. He not only lost the game by leaving him in there, rather, but he kind of ruined the pitcher a little bit more. Now the guy's really self-thinking about, we know he's not that great, but he had a little bit in him. He went 5 innings. But, geez, I just can't believe what he did. I think that was wrong. And I go back in my notes. I have notes where I track balls and strikes and all this stuff. I did.
Love that.
Series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people talk highly about the Alvarado and all that. I go back to those days there, and he's done the same thing there. So I'm saying to myself, we're never going to win a World Series with this group. It's not going to happen. Either Demo Brodsky, that's what I call him, Demo. He's ruining the team if he doesn't do anything just by doing nothing. He's got to bring some other players in for us, a couple of hitters and somebody else. We need the bullpen straightened. And then he brings in the other guy here. What's his name? Did he just
Kepler?
No. I got him right over here.
The reliever?
The reliever.
David Robertson.
Robertson.
Mm-hmm.
He was with us before, right?
Twice. Yeah, this is his 3rd stint, John.
Yeah. Well, I just reviewed some of my notes from back then. He wasn't doing that good back then. He was lucky. We could have lost that 1 game because of him. But that was the one where they said that the guy got hit he rolled into the ball, rather, and he got out of that inning during the World Series, which was, like the 3rd game or whatever. We won that game. But he's not the answer neither. So
no, he's definitely not.
They're listening. And John, I thought John was a really good owner. I hope he's probably not listening now, but who knows? Maybe he is. But you're blowing it. I want to tell you that. I don't call stations that much, but I'm just going to tell them as a fan, you're blowing it for all of us. This is your only shot. If we don't win it this year, forget it. We're going to be losing people here. It's going to be another training program, bringing up guys here, trying it. This is the closest you're going to get. for a number of years. That's what I see. Even if we win it this year, I don't think we're going to keep winning it. Like, we're not going to be up there high and everything like this. But I think that, he's got to really take steps up.
Sure.
We got like seven more days for this guy to make a big – I hope he's going to do something.
Yeah, he's got to get this go. John, thank you. I appreciate the passion, all right? Taking notes, diving back to the David Robertson notes from back in the day when he was with us. Yes, this is his third stint. He was here in 19, he was here in 22, and now he's here again at 40 years old in 2025. Wild. I don't think he's the answer either. I'll say this, though, on the Topper thing that he mentioned. He won me a little tiny bit in this regard. Won me over a tiny bit. It's hard to win me over, but a tiny bit. While I acknowledge the long leash is acceptable in this type of situation with Luzardo, did Rob give even too much of a long leash in that long leash? Maybe after the walks, enough is enough. Now, with hindsight, people are making it seem, after one walk, get him out. Well, hold on a second. Maybe Rob still could have gave him that leash, but still could have gotten ahead of the Grand Slam, and we meet somewhere in the middle. We could talk about that. I think that's fair. I think that's objective. See? I'm a good guy. I'm willing to work with the people. I'm not that stubborn, I think. 215-592-9494. That is the phone number to hop on board. We will continue rocking your calls. Coming up next, what Rob Thomson said about Luzardo in the postgame and your phone calls. It's Brodes. It's 94 WIP.